Morning, Steve Free in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Well, overnight prices are a little bit better in the grains. I think we found some support. Number one is probably some of the spec long liquidation from the recent sell-off may be done. Some people also talk about some of that long liquidation could have been China spec buyers or longs. That suggests why during the sell-off the volume was so big in the overnight sessions. We also note that there might be some consumer buying here in the U.S. underneath the market, and there's talk that China may increase U.S. ag good buying under the new administration. There is talk that China may have bought some April-May U.S. corn off the PNW yesterday. Argentina weather is back on the radar based on talk that we could actually see over the next 30 days a little bit drier than normal conditions down there. We also note that the larger Brazil corn crop has been delayed in planting, and that their crops could also be lower. There's also talk about truckers' strike both in Brazil and Argentina, delaying movement of grain to the ports to load to boats. U.S. corn prices are still the cheapest in the world, and I think that whether or not this rally overnight continues into the weekend will depend upon, number one, what the U.S. export sales say tomorrow, number two, the consumer buying continues underneath the market, and number three, if the Argentina weather forecast is drier than normal. We also noted that one weather group came out and said that when looking at the NOAA long-term U.S. weather maps, it suggests that La Nina will strengthen enough to cause warmer than normal temperatures in the U.S. this summer. The key is that NOAA sometimes picks up on this, and a few weeks from now they could drop it. So that's something that we have to watch down the road. We also note that we're going to have today a private estimate of U.S. 2021 planted acres by crop and some production numbers. And we'll see just what those numbers suggest. We all look for a rebound in crops this year, assuming normal weather, and help maybe loosen the tightening U.S. corn and soybean supply and demand balance sheet for this year. We also note that we're still unknown about what's going on in Russia as far as export restrictions, and especially on wheat and corn, and whether the fact that they're not shipping wheat could help U.S. wheat export demand. And finally, we noted the Argentina farmer picked up some sales of cash on talk that there could be some export restrictions in Argentina. So China buying, South American weather, maybe the end of speculative long liquidation could support prices. Still looking for higher prices long term due to the tightening of the U.S. corn and soybean balance sheets. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day, and remember, always try to treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.